I think there's way too much talk these days about being part of the 1%. Self-improvement is very competitive, it's all a competition. Life's a competition. Being a man, you're constantly competing, right? In all aspects of life, you're competing for, women, you're competing against your co-workers to get a bonus or a raise or move up in your position in the company. If you're running a business, you have competitors. So much of life is a competition. And in order to have competitive energy, you do have to kind of think that you're the best, that you need to be the best, that you deserve to beat everyone else. So it's no surprise that there's this kind of thing of like having to be part of the 1%, having to be the best of everything. It's no surprise. And I don't think it's all bad, I think there's something quite nice and quite good about this competitive energy. You can't really enjoy a game of football without a bit of competition. I used to never really, to be honest, the only time I really enjoy football is because obviously most people like most parts of the world, like in the UK, everyone's just nuts about football. And they're only nuts about it, they only really love it because they support a team, right? And that's what engaged them with it. Like when I watch a game of football, if it's like the Premier League or something like that, I honestly don't give a flying fuck about the game, because there's nothing in it for me. I don't care what team wins, that's why I like the World Cup, because it's like quite easy to sort of root for a side. You want your country to win the game, and then I enjoy it, or maybe not enjoy it, but at least I'm engaged, so you do need that kind of competition, because of competitive energy about you. I'm not bashing it, but you have to know when to turn it off, right? You have to know when to turn it off, just like with the game of football. No one likes a guy who's just really gets too pissed off and starts fighting everyone in a game of football. Or like you're playing a game of table tennis and the guy storms off because he's so pissed off because he's losing. There are bounds to competitiveness, and this is a perfect. We realise that in games, in sports or whatever, there can be such thing as too much competitiveness, just as there can be too little. There's a kind of golden ratio. There's a kind of golden medium, and the same is true of life, guys. You don't have to be in the 1% for absolutely everything. It's quite a calculated decision what it means to be in the 1%. I think a lot of people who are quite naive, like no offence, are quite naive, they'll get on self-improvement and they'll think, yeah, I'm gonna be the 1% of everything, like top 1% of earners, top 1% of most attractive women are gonna want me, top 1% of, I'm gonna have a top 10, like fantastic physical form, not really realising what goes into that. I'm sick of hearing these guys who are just like, are you even about it? Again, I don't want to sound disencouraging. Maybe, because there is a time when you need that competitive energy, but I just think, I don't know, to give an example, okay? Just me, I take my physical health, physical fitness, I think it's extremely important. I take it very seriously. But beyond being a bit toned, muscle wise, being skinny, and having good posture, all of that. I'd like to be have a bit more muscle, a bit more defined V-taper and stuff like that. But beyond that, I don't really care about how good my body looks. I won't be in the top 1% of male physique. In top 10, 1% of like looking good. I won't have like a Mike Thurston body or a Arnold physique. I've just decided it's not that important to me. There's a lot of sacrifice there. I'd much rather spend that time becoming more flexible, having good cardio, being better at fighting. There are other aspects that I'm willing to sacrifice. Same with money, something that I think a lot about. How much does a dollar cost? That Kendrick Lamar song. Do I want to be in the top 1% of earners? I think there's a good amount of money that you need to make. I think sort of seeing what other people say or on other entrepreneurs say, seem like 4-hour work week, that kind of lifestyle. It's kind of 2 to 5k per month is pretty sick. And after that, it's just kind of it's after a certain point it starts becoming diminishing returns. Now I think you can be very naive and worry too little about money. Prioritize other silly things and not think about money at all. You do need money. Money makes the world go round. You might not necessarily because you need material wealth in your life, but when shit hits the fan, it's like you need that backup of money. If you live in a country where there's bad healthcare or there's no free healthcare, and you have kids and God forbid one of them gets sick, you can pay for, that you can cover their hospital fees and that's not a problem. You can pay for your family to live in a nice part of the world where, live in a nice area where it's safe. Money is good when it comes to that kind of stuff. But becoming the top 1%, earning millions and millions and millions, it's great. But the problem is there's just other sacrifices that come in there. How's your mental health while you're making that kind of money? What sort of business are you in? What other things, what did you come on earth to do? Was it just to amass wealth? Was there other things involved? I don't know, for me, I've been thinking a lot about like what I really want to achieve in my life. And I've become much more financially motivated than I used to be a massive hippie. I used to not worry about money at all. I thought I was just going to be pretty, just scrape by and like be a musician. That's kind of what I thought I'd be, like one of these kind of, just like that sort of traditional image of the tortured artist, and I've still got a little bit of that in me, of course. But, so I have become more financially motivated, but the things that really motivate me, the things that like, sort of, I get like that kind of cold feeling in my gut of like, yes, this is what I want to do in my life, is kind of different things. It's like, I want to go to this country and film a vlog, and it be like really good, do a really good vlog. Or it's like, I want to write a book or a TV series. It's these kind of things. That's the stuff that just really gets me going. So like I say, money is important, but if you spend your whole time doing it, like what other things? There's some sacrifice, There's a big sacrifice in being the top 1% of earners, like these guys like Tate, Justin Waller, like, very inspiring in many ways. But that's their life. is running these businesses. And, you know, there's stuff they can't do because they're doing this. Now, obviously, like, they're very successful. Now they can probably take their foot off the gas a bit and do stuff that their life wouldn't have afforded them otherwise. You know, like, they can live quite a luxurious life. But fundamentally, like, they've made a decision that they like earning money, they like running businesses, and this is what they do. And there are sacrifices involved there. Now, it clearly works for them. They you know, they're clearly very happy with themselves. But is that what you want out of your life? You know, just, there's no right or wrong answer, but I just think you've got to think about it. There are some things where you do need to be in the top 1%. Don't get me wrong. I think, you know, you need to be in the top 1% of something to make good money off it. You know, especially in this modern world, especially in this kind of, if you want to make income online and stuff like that, you know, like, you need to, mastering some kind of skill is really vital to success, right? You know, like, the best rappers in the world, they're the top 1% of, if you take all the people who can rap, the best, the ones who are making the most money off it, or the most successful rappers, if you use that loose term, are the top 1%, you know, and there's about 99% of the rest of the people who rap who never really do, who don't make it big, right? And obviously there are other factors like, you know, luck and stuff like that, but like, largely, if you want to be successful in rap, you have to get into that 1% of people who can rap well. Same with playing the guitar, you know, lots of people can play the guitar, but it's the top 1% of people who just really just took it to a different level. You know, like, you know, imagine how many people were trying to play guitar in the 60s, you know, who are lead guitarists, you know, so many, but it's the ones, you know, it's the Hendrix, it's something about Hendrix that's just shits on every other guitarist, you know, he's in the 1%. So, and you know, if you want to live a good life, I think you do need to specialise in something that puts you in a 1%. But guys, it's in a certain field, you know. So figure out what it is, you know, that puts, you can go into that 1% for, of course. But it just doesn't go for everything, you know. I mean, the other obvious one is like women, you know. People are like, oh yeah, I want to get like the top 1% of beautiful women. Is that really where your motivation comes from when it comes to dating women? You know, or do you just want to have like a really beautiful partner who's really loving, you've got a really intimate relationship with, you know, and you've got a stable relationship and you've got kids and or whatever, you know, like, I don't really think, the way I think about it, like, I want all of that, you know, but it's not really a case of percentages, you know. 1% or, you know, it's not really in my mind, like, how many women there are, like, you know, the person I want to marry. Like, obviously, it's going to be hard to get that kind of person in your life, you know, and there's going to be competition. But, I don't know, just don't, I think it's a bit of an arbitrary way of thinking about it. I think things are much more complicated than that, you know. Just get what you want, you know. You don't need to optimise everything. You need to maximise every single aspect of your life. You know, and the other thing is, like, come on guys, you know, this idea of being a top 1% man, it's great. You know, it's good to be ambitious, I get it. But ultimately, is that what we want? Is that what we want, just to sort of, you know, it's quite lonely at the top, in another sense. But I think, really, the answer to society, the problem with society is that everyone's low down, you know. Everyone's in that sort of shitty thing where they're losers, they haven't got, you know, they're just sitting, they're watching porn, they're playing computer games, you know. This idea that you're just going to have like an escape from all this, being the 1%, it's like, no, like, you're meant for more than that, you know. You know, I just think we're pack animals, you know, and rather than just thinking about like optimizing yourself to be the very best person in the world, like optimize the community around you, you know, serve the community around you. Think with a bit more vision, you know. Think with a bit more vision. If you improve in your life, you know, help those who are willing to sacrifice what it takes to improve as well, you know. Obviously it's difficult helping people on self-improvement, but that's a much better idea, you know. Like, it's just so individualistic, this idea of just being a 1% man, you know, and it's kind of just self-idolatry. You know, I just think we need to think bigger than this. Come on, you know. There's so much more to life than just optimizing for just, at the end of the day, it's just arbitrary numbers, you know. It's just numbers on a screen, and like, it doesn't matter, you know. Like when I was trying to really sort of bulk up to like a really aesthetic physique, you know, I started thinking like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, I had like targets like, oh, I want to get to this kind of body weight. But at the end of the day, it's just, you know, you can just worry too much about the target and just forget the principle behind why you're doing it. You know, very quickly, I mean, I think James Clear says this in Atomic Habits as well. It's like, you can just do a habit doggedly and kind of forget why you're doing it and just keep doing it. Always keep the purpose in mind, you know. Again, I'm not saying don't improve your life. Don't, you know, get that girl. Don't earn good money. Like, all those things. Like, I'm doing this stuff 100%. But don't just break yourself to get in some arbitrary number that doesn't even matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, think bigger. You know, have some perspective about what's really important. And realise the sacrifice involved, you know. I mean, let's say, you know, I want to be in the top 1% of language learners. Let's say I really want to learn Russian, let's say, and I just really dedicate myself to that. That's going to come at sacrifices, you know. I'll just spend like 12 hours a day studying Russian, you know, sitting at a computer, listening to, you know, films, media, newsreels in Russian, you know, speaking in Russian. Like, this is hypothetical, I'm not saying I'll do this, you know. That comes at a cost. Now, to get that into that 1%. Now, you know, I might be the kind of person where I just love learning languages, you know, that I'm like, okay, fine, you know, I'll do that. I'm happy to do that. You know, I know it's going to come at a cost of other things. But just realise that, because I think a lot of the time it's just like, people just think it's just easy. It's like, no, it's a lot of sacrifice. And you need to make some sacrifices in life, of course you do. But just get some perspective. So yeah, there you go.